Which cars have been ranked as the most expensive and least expensive to maintain and repair? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. A new study from CarEdge reveals the most expensive and the least expensive vehicles to own in terms of their fuel, maintenance, repairs, depreciation, and insurance costs over the first 5 years of ownership. And in most cases, these vehicles continue to be the most expensive and least expensive even after 10 years of ownership. So let's see which vehicles came in the top and bottom spots in every single category of vehicle, starting with the first category, which is compact cars. According to the report, the most expensive compact car to own is the Volkswagen Jetta, and the least expensive one to own is the Toyota Corolla. The Corolla has a 5-year cost of ownership of $29,686 US, compared to the Volkswagen Jetta, which has a 5-year cost of ownership of $36,494 US. So that means over the first 5 years, the Jetta will cost around $7,000 more in terms of maintenance, repairs, fuel, and depreciation when compared to the Corolla, which is pretty substantial. This is why I often recommend the Corolla for those that just want the most affordable form of transportation. Nothing else comes close if you want the least expensive car there is with the lowest cost in fuel, maintenance, and minimal to no repairs. It is easily one of the most affordable cars that you can buy. The Volkswagen Jetta, on the other hand, is a completely different story. Yes, it is a very nicely styled car. They drive very well and have a nice interior and all of that. But maintenance, repair costs, and depreciation will all be much higher. So you will ultimately pay the price in the long run. And now that we're done with compact cars, let's move on to the subcompact SUV category. And for this category, the most expensive subcompact SUV to own is the Chevrolet Trailblazer, and the least expensive to own is the Honda HR-V. According to the report, the Honda HR-V has a 5-year cost of ownership of $35,528 US, compared to the Trailblazer, which has a 5-year cost of $41,818 US. So again, a difference of just over $6,000 over the first 5 years when it comes to fuel, maintenance, repairs, depreciation, and insurance. Again, no real surprise here. The HR-V has built a reputation for being one of the most reliable small SUVs available. It has a bulletproof K-Series 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that will last an eternity, maintenance costs are very low, and the resale value of the HR-V is incredibly high. On the flip side, the Trailblazer suffers from above average depreciation. It comes with a tiny 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, which will be more prone to costly repair problems, so this one is just best to avoid. And now let's move on to the slightly larger SUVs, compact crossovers. And for this category, the study found that the most expensive compact SUV to own is the Dodge Hornet, and the least expensive one to own is the Toyota RAV4. The Toyota RAV4 has a 5-year cost of ownership of $37,407, compared to $59,305 for the Dodge Hornet. That means over the first 5 years, the Dodge Hornet will cost over $22,000 more than the RAV4 in terms of fuel, maintenance, repairs, and depreciation. And the reason why really just comes down to how abysmal the Hornet is. I've ranked it as one of the worst SUVs on sale for years now, and this study really just solidifies it. In addition to poor reliability and high repair costs thanks to its Alfa Romeo components, the Hornet is one of the fastest depreciating SUVs on sale, so it basically drains your money in every possible way. The RAV4, on the other hand, is a completely different story. This is one of the most reliable SUVs with the lowest operating costs that you can get. And because of its high demand, the resale value is as good as it gets, all of which explains the very low numbers. And for the next category of vehicles, we have large three-row SUVs. And wouldn't you know it, according to the study, we have the same two brands, with the most expensive three-row SUV being the Dodge Durango and the least expensive being the Toyota Highlander. According to the study, the Highlander has a 5-year cost of ownership of $49,682 US, compared to $95,042 for the Dodge Durango. That's nearly double the cost of the Highlander over 5 years. An astonishing difference that really makes it seem quite crazy for anyone to even choose the Dodge. On the flip side, the Highlander has long been one of the longest lasting, lowest cost three-row SUVs available, and its resale value is best in class. And the numbers are even better if you go with the hybrid version. Quite simply, as far as cost of ownership goes, it's an absolute no-brainer if you need a three-row SUV. And next up, we have the minivan category, and wouldn't you know it, the study has the same two brands that have come up yet again. The most expensive minivan to own is the Chrysler Pacifica, and the least expensive, the Toyota Sienna. The Sienna has a 5-year cost of ownership of $50,369, compared to $67,493 for the Pacifica. Just say it with me. Do not buy Stellantis vehicles. The quality is poor, repair costs are high, and depreciation is abysmal, all of which perfectly describes the Pacifica. The Sienna, on the other hand, is the smartest purchase that anyone can make in the minivan segment. Perfectly reliable, low cost to own, and practically depreciation proof. It's the best value for money minivan anyone can ask for, and it has long been my #1 choice. And now let's move on to trucks. Now this is an interesting one because according to the study, the most expensive truck to own after 5 years is the Tesla Cybertruck, and the least expensive is the Toyota Tacoma. According to the study, the Toyota Tacoma has a 5-year cost of ownership of $44,751 US, compared to the Cybertruck, which is $92,141. Quality and resale value are not in the Cybertruck's vocabulary, whereas those are the words that perfectly describe the Tacoma. As far as trucks go, it is tough to get any better than this. And now for the next category, with by far the biggest gap between the least and most expensive ones to own, which of course is luxury vehicles. Let's start with luxury SUVs. The least expensive luxury SUV to own is the Lexus RX 350, and the most expensive, the Land Rover Range Rover. According to the study, the Lexus RX 350 has a 5-year cost of ownership of $52,955, compared to $224,749 for the Range Rover. Now, obviously these two are not quite in the same category of luxury, and they do have different types of target buyers. But even so, it is remarkable to see the difference in cost between two vehicles that, for the most part, serve basically the same purpose. The Lexus RX is a money saver and one of the smartest choices for anyone who wants a luxury SUV. The Range Rover, on the other hand, is just a complete waste of money. With its awful reputation for reliability, hideously expensive repair and maintenance costs, high insurance rates, and awful resale value, it is a total money pit in every possible way. And we see the same major difference in the next category, which is luxury sedans, with the most expensive luxury sedan to own being the Maserati Ghibli, and the least expensive one to own, the Lexus ES300H. According to the report, the ES300H has a 5-year cost of only $57,719, compared to $178,050 for the Maserati Ghibli. Now again, these two cars are not quite in the same category, but they are close enough and basically accomplish the same objectives. Maserati no longer makes the Ghibli, and good riddance. It was an awful money pit, pretty much like every other car Maserati makes. A troubled company to say the least. Whereas the Lexus ES is just about the smartest luxury car anyone can buy. It was my #1 pick for best luxury cars of the year and remains the best choice for those who want something nice to drive that does not burn an insane amount of money. So there you have it, pretty interesting results, and you can definitely end up saving a lot or losing a lot of money depending on what choice you make. So let me know what you thought of the results of this report, and do you have any experience owning any of the vehicles that were on this list, and what were they like? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can take a look at my other videos by clicking the links up in the corner. And if you are planning to purchase a vehicle and you live in Ontario, know that OMVIC is the vehicle sales regulator that's responsible for administering and enforcing the rules that dealerships must follow. To learn more about your consumer protection rights, just visit omvic.ca. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.